What is good, my brethren? It is Maximus MMA. Bringing you a hell of a video today. Look, I will get to where, okay, I had the idea to even make this video, and I'll actually play those clips for you right now.
All right, well, I gotta talk to the wife. We want to do a mighty journey out there.
Talk to wife.
Hey, this is
What's happening, bro?
This is how my marriage works. This is how my marriage works,
best
Islam.
fighter in the world, bro. You have to ask. You have to tell her, but not us.
That's the person I need to listen to. Like, if the world was run by women, we'd all live in a better world. Like, it would all be simpler and easier. That's the fact of the matter. Whether you want to agree with it or not, or you think whatever it is, if women ruled the world and we just listen to them and let them take over, it would be an easier world.
And as you can see, right, just in this particular small instance, right, when it came to women and wives and girlfriends, etc., we've got a pretty stark contrast in UFC 330's main event. So I thought, what better time to take a little bit of a deeper dive? We're not going to get too deep, right, but just enough. We're going to get our toes wet of the cultural war of UFC 330, which will be going down and written in legend. Now, as a quick disclaimer, this is kind of a trigger warning, so if you're easily triggered, please kick off the video. And yeah, obviously you guys can read the screen here. There's a lot of weirdos on the internet. So like, just come on, dude. We're having fun, all right? Let's get started with the Islam Makhachev side. Okay, as you can see, we've got Islam in his nice, beautiful white robe, right? He looks pretty dapper there, and he's got his Quran, okay? He's holding that tight with both hands. You can't see him, but trust me, it's in his hand. Look, okay? Here's the thing with Islam, and, you know, more so just the overarching, right, whole religion, okay? You're most likely, of the three that we're going to cover today, you're most likely to be married to a towel. Now look, I don't know what it is about Islam, right? But something about when you're born in the Middle East, okay, or nowadays in Paris, or God knows what, right? When they see a towel, okay, something about it, though. That just gets them going, and they're like, shit, I'm going to put a ring on that. See, me, like, when you're a little kid in the United States, you know, if you were, like, in love with a towel, right, I would just assume you have, like, a porn addiction. And, like, your mother's, like, beating your ass because you got a crusty towel in the fucking, you know, hamper or some shit. In Islam, that means something completely different, right? That means you got to get married. But look, honestly, I think it's better to marry the towel than it is to be attracted to four-legged horned animals. Look, again, I don't know what is in the water over there, right? But for whatever reason, right, when these certain people from this certain region of the world, when they see an animal, right, which I call Mike, right, shout out MJ, Michael Jordan, okay, LeBron, you one of them, but you ain't the one, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Russ, too, he just retired. But, yeah, man, like, there's something about it, man, and it's just weird to me, right? It's something that I'll never understand, and I really don't need to, right? Honestly, I feel like one of my greatest blessings to not be a part of Islam is that I don't ever have to look at a goat and be like, hey, man, let's get this shit on. I feel like that's weird. Now, look, this is kind of a controversial one, so we'll just kind of make it quick. Like, every time I ever hear some Islamic person, they're always like, oh, we are the religion of peace. Brother, your countries are at war 90% of the time. Now, look, you can blame, okay, the Christians and the Jews and all that for that. So I don't want to fully put this on Islam, but it's just something that's ironic to me, so I just kind of want to include it because I'll really never understand this. Now, we will give Islam some credit here, okay? They are based with women to an extent. Right now, would I go as far as marrying the towel? No, right? But I do love that clip of Islam Makhachev kind of checking Demetrius Johnson and being like, hey, brother, you know, you are one of the greatest fighters in the world. If you don't ask your wife, you tell her. And I agree with him, right? Now, if you're some bum, you living with your mom, you got no money, right? You're ugly, right? You can't see your dick because your gut's hanging over, right? That might be different. You might have to ask wifey, girlfriend for permission, ask her how high you got to jump, etc. But for us, man, that are out here getting the job done, you kind of just do what you want to do and let the chips fall where they may, right? That's what you should do as a man because the woman will actually respect you for that. So Islam here, they're kind of cooking. They just take it like a step too far, in my opinion. Allegedly, supposedly. And look, I got to give Islam a little bit more credit, okay? They do believe in Jesus Christ, However, they do not believe that he is God in the flesh. So that's kind of like an asterisk because, you know, like Islam is close, right? They're a little closer than what we'll get to next to being based, in my opinion. But, you know, they got some work to do. And really the last diss here on Islam, look, brother, okay, y'all honor a man that literally encountered a demon in a cave and then proceeded to marry a 6-year-old. Now, look. Now, use this weapon I'm about to grant you, okay, with great caution, right? Because it's very powerful. And some people in Islam, again, hopefully I don't feel the wrath of this, they have low impulse control, right? So if you say something like I'm going to tell you to say, they might actually just come and cut your head off, okay? So be careful. But, bro, if you ever need to trigger an Islamic person, all you got to say is Aisha was 6 years old, man. And then just watch them squirm, bro. You win every time, trust me. Let's just move on. Okay, let's move on. Next up, okay, on the Ian Garry side, right, we obviously saw the podcast where he's been saying, oh, women should rule the world, right? That's how, check out my Ian Garry is embarrassing men video. You'll like that if you like this so far. So, look, even though I'm not entirely sure that Ian Garry is Jewish, he has a lot of Jewish tendencies, okay? Like, to me, he's probably getting $7K a month, if we're being honest. I mean, like, would you really bet against me on that? No, you wouldn't. So here we go. Okay, these people, they're most likely to be on Epstein's Island. Look, I'm the kind of guy where when I have certain speculation about certain people, right, I like to do this little thing you call last name, like insert last name, origin. Okay, brother, you do that, you're going to go down a rabbit hole, brother. And let's just say that if you do that little test, okay, with Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, it is that kind of person. Hey, and if you read the Talmud, brother, it starts to make a lot of sense, so I'm going to say. Keep in mind, too, that it also says in the Talmud, to my understanding, that a Gentile, a non-Jew that reads the Talmud should be put to death. Why do you think that is? They don't want you to know what's in there, brother. Do your homework on that. Look, this is where we really get to the Ian Garry specifically, okay? They're the type of people to say that women should boss men around and rule the world just to destroy the West, right? Because there's this whole argument that, like, Israel, right, they have progressives too. Bro, that's like the small amount. The progressives go to other countries to, in my opinion, allegedly, supposedly ruin them, right, from within, promoting stuff that simply just doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. And, of course, there's actually, shout out Andrew Tate, hopefully he gets free. I saw an Andrew Tate clip some time ago, but it just sticks with me because he's right. He's like, the reason why the powers that be want women to be on the top of the totem pole, right, in 2026, it's not for women's liberation, right? None of this bull crap that you might see on your Instagram feed. This sounds all warm and fuzzy inside. No. It's because if 100,000 women, okay, went into the street, right, what would they say that is? A protest. They're just going to be nagging and moaning, and guess what's going to happen? Nothing. 100,000 men go out into the street. What do they call that? A revolution. So if you keep the women in power, right, first off, that's Antichrist, which we'll get to in a second. But two, it just weakens society, right? Societies were better when men run the show, okay, and women had to try to impress the men. That's just true, bro. Anyone disagrees with that, we can get into a longer debate sometime off camera or on camera. I'll cook you, so we're good, brother. But, yeah, also, so if you are part of this group, you're also likely to consider yourself a victim at all times, in particular after you've been banned from 109 bars. Now, look, if you know what I'm talking about, you are a noticer, brother, so congrats. You're on the path to enlightenment. Maybe you're already enlightened, right? But, yeah, man, like, these people, you know, they're the type where, like, when you're, like, a little kid, right, and, like, you're fighting with, like, a little brother or little sister, and, like, they hit you, and then somehow they're the ones crying to mom and dad. And you're like, bro, like, how does it even make sense? You know, like, you're in school, you know, like, you're in Super Bowl, right, 5th grade Super Bowl. You give some kid a little stiff arm, juke him out, he's a little salty. He runs to the teacher and says that you pushed him down and, like, beat him up, and he's crying. It's just like, what are we doing here, right? So, hey, the old saying goes, a jay will cry out in pain as he strikes you, right? That's kind of how it goes. Look for that on Saturday night, right? Look for a potential complaining about a foul from Islam Makhachev towards Ian Garry on Saturday night. That's a prediction here on the bingo card. Okay, another one, which we're not going to spend too much time on because I'll get banned. They're very likely to support LGBTQ. Do your homework on Magnus Hirschfeld, right? Do your homework on burning the books, okay? We're not rocking with that over on Maximum's MMA channel. We're just not. They're also likely to tell you to consume copious amounts of goy slop, right? Like, that's the thing with Ian Garry, and that's why he just can't win. Because, like, he's the type of guy, I can already tell, because he says he's on some vegan diet, right? All this junk. He's definitely eating a lot of soy and tofu, right? And tofu is, like, mostly soy to my understanding. Bro, that's goy slop, brother. And goy slop is not just stuff you put in your mouth, no diddy, like stuff you eat, right? It's also the content you consume online, things of that nature, right? If you don't know what goy slop is by now, you're probably still asleep, brother. You gotta wake up. And yeah, Ian Garry is literally doing that, though. That's one of the main problems I have with Ian Garry, is that he's promoting this crap to the youth, right? Shut up. You have such not, like, at least Islam, like, shows, like, hey, brother, like, be modest, right? Like, be humble, right? Ian Garry's all, like, walking around like Connor and being like, oh, eat soy, yes, and have a woman groom you and make every decision for you so that she can take all of your money and destroy your life. Yes, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm taking the towel over that. I'm sorry, I just blew my cover, but hey, I'm going with the towel over this shit. But anyways, and also the quick side note, you know, look, they reject Jesus fully. And typically they honor demons such as Malak and Remphan. Look, I'm not here to give you a full lesson on the difference between Judaism and Christianity, but let's just say that it's a demonic religion, in my opinion, supposedly, allegedly. And yeah, I just don't believe in it because Isaiah 53 clearly prophesies Jesus Christ. And yeah, man, like, to me, it's just like, it's just a selfish thing at this point. Like, if you actually understand Old Testament, New Testament, bro, it's clear, okay? Allegedly, supposedly, in my opinion. Well, let's get on to my side, because, look, I'm not just going to sit on the sidelines and just talk a bunch of crap, right? Even though I'm not the one in the fight on Saturday, so I got to give all credit to Ian Garry and Islam Makhachev for laying it all on the line for us on Saturday night. I didn't want to put myself in here, look, because the truth needs to be spoken, all right? Now, as Christians, right, first off, we're most likely to lead a crusade against the prior mentioned, okay? Do your homework on the Crusades, one of the coolest parts of history that I've ever actually had the chance to educate myself on in my entire life. Now, as Christians, we build the best countries. If you don't believe me, a lot of the Makhachev types are crying at Christian borders right now. And look, they can say, right, we can have all this propaganda. Oh, America is not a Christian country. Shut up. Did you know that every single man that signed the Declaration of Independence was a Christian? Do you know that God is mentioned in the Declaration of Independence, I believe, 3 different times? It's a Christian nation, brother. Okay? Anybody that denies that is an idiot. And also, if you deny that, and my friends and who are watching this, you know who you are, you're a goof. They're always like, I'm an atheist. Brother, you're living in a country that has hundreds of years of Christian roots and values instilled in it. But my morality doesn't come from religion. Yes, it does, you fucking rat. You literally benefit from a Christian base and then reject the Christ. And I pray for you, brother. Multiple of y'all. But any day, we build the best countries. This isn't even debatable. It's just not, okay? We also have the best lore, right? Christian history is awesome. Manifest Destiny, the creation of the United States. Obviously, all of Europe for quite some time, right? Spanish Golden Age, things of that nature. The actual Bible itself. Look, whether you're a believer in Christ or not, okay, the story of Jesus Christ is extremely awesome and inspiring, right? You can't not at least find inspiration in that story, even if somehow you think it's a fairy tale, even though Jesus Christ, by definition, is the most documented man to ever exist in the history of the world. Look it up on Google, brother. It's right there for you, okay? You don't have to argue with me. I'm just saying the facts here. Yeah, man, it's a great story, okay? And also based on truth. Christians also, okay, we do kind of get the best ending because, look, eventually we will inherit the kingdom of heaven where Jesus will be sitting to the right of the Father and he will accept us after we repent for our sins, right? And then kind of final trump card, right, in my opinion, right, for the prior two and also all others, is that in Revelations 22:13, Jesus Christ said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. I already told you that Judaism, right? They rejected the Christ, in my opinion, for selfish reasons, right? All the signs were there. They still reject him, right? How many things did Jesus also prophesize that came true for the Jewish people, right? And obviously, the third temple was destroyed. Jesus said it would be destroyed. And then Islam, to me, it's a direct contradiction because you have, they accept Jesus Christ as a prophet, but then they basically say the word of Muhammad is an above Jesus. Which, when you think about that, how does Christianity, right, or the words of Jesus, which became Christianity, come 600 or so years before Islam? And Jesus literally said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. And somehow we're like, nah, brother, we just throwing that part out. But we believe in him. How does that even make sense? To me, that makes no sense. Look, I'm not a complete religious scholar. I like to think I know more than 99% of people, but obviously is that 1%. And it's a big, wide world, right? So 1% of the world is actually a lot of people, guys. Okay, so you might be one of them. Odds are you're not, right? But it's okay. Humble yourself. But look, man, that's going to do it for this video. Okay, I just wanted to make a little meme here. Look, let me know what side you're on, right? At the end of the day, we all are united under God. Hopefully, we can all see the truth one day. And I look forward to a great event on Saturday night. UFC 330 going down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Notice how we're in a Christian country. Best country, by the way. But, yeah. So it's going to be awesome, man. If this did trigger you for some reason, right, I thought we kept it actually pretty lighthearted now looking back. But please just take it as a joke, man. Okay? Just trying to put out some nice content for you. And if you did enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. And, yeah, man, let me know who's going to win in this main event. Right? I want to know. I want to know what the people are thinking. We got a big one. So, as always, it was Maximus MMA, and I'll see you in the next one. Lock of the week coming likely tomorrow.